What's up guys, this is BT here, and this is the battle between the Surface Go and the regular Apple iPad. Guys, before we start this battle, can we leave the whole PC versus Mac, Mac versus PC thing out of this? Please, pretty please. This is a product versus product. Whichever one wins or doesn't win doesn't mean much because what works for one person might not work for another. What I want to do today with this battle is give you my feedback on these two excellent devices in my opinion. Before we begin though guys, don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. So let's get the pricing out of the way first, shall we? The iPad is coming in two models, a 32GB at $329 and a 128GB at $429 with the A10 Fusion chips. The Surface Go for the 64GB is coming in at $400 with a worse hard drive, and the 128GB version is coming in at $550, which is the better option in my opinion with the 8GB of RAM and a faster SSD. I have with me here the 32GB iPad and the 128GB version of the Windows Surface Go. I honestly don't think price should be really a factor when deciding between these two devices because they work very well in their own right. So I'm calling this round a tie. One thing that really drew me into the Microsoft Go was the ability to have an actual desktop experience and not just some glorified iPhone, and to be honest, that's what's really kept me away from tablets for the past years. I mean, where do they actually fit in our lives? I mean, this is where I think that the Microsoft Go excels, as it gives you a small form factor with the ability to turn it into a great hybrid experience with the keyboard and pen. That being said, if you saw my Surface Go review, you will know that I experienced a ton of lag, which led me to feel a little bit underwhelmed, especially when I'm running memory hogging websites like YouTube. And yes, I did use Edge, guys. This, on the other hand, is where the iPad excels with its closed off iOS system. I mean, it really shows its power. You have to get everything from the App Store, but these apps are super optimized completely for the device. And that's one thing that Apple has always had going for it is its development. Development. They really put the time into developing the apps for the iPad, the iPhone, the Macs. And they always seem to run so seamlessly. Whereas on the Surface Go, you have to turn off S mode to get good apps because the Microsoft Store is really lacking at the moment, let's be honest. So to keep it short and sweet, you get some freedom, but you get the lag with the Surface Go, and you get an optimized closed off system with Apple. This seems to be a theme for every battle involving a Windows and a Mac device. For most people who aren't computer savvy, I'd say go with the iPad. It's smooth out of the box. You don't have to go download programs on your own and deal with all installing them and turn off S mode and things like that. You can get straight to the goodies. If you're like me though, and you love freedom and can deal with a little bit of lag here and there, and you kind of realize like, you know what, YouTube is a very memory hogging program, then go with the Surface Go, why not? After holding both devices, honestly, I love both. So it's very hard to choose a winner based on build quality. One design bonus that I do feel like the Surface Go has is its stand, which I love. I love being able to prop this guy up any and everywhere, and it just stays in place no matter what. You could buy a case for the iPad, that's true, but they can fall or you have to reposition the case. It's just not as good of a solution as on the Microsoft Surface Go. The iPad is a prettier device though. The bezels are slightly smaller along the edge, which makes it a little bit nicer to use when consuming media. The Microsoft Go's bezels, which, you know, feel a little bit dated, like I'm holding an old Amazon Fire tablet or something like that. The iPad does come in 3 different colors and the Microsoft Go only comes in 1. So I hope you like silver. But to me, the design of that hinge really just, I love it. And I miss it when I was using the iPad. So I have to give this round to the Microsoft Surface Go. As far as webcams go, I don't need to say much here. Here are 2 examples of video in the same conditions. And now here are some pictures in the same conditions. Not even the $10,000 camera on the MacBook Pro has as good of a camera as on the Surface Go at $550. Do you guys need me to say more? I mean, I just let the video speak for itself. The accessories from Microsoft and Apple respectfully, disregarding third-party options is better with Microsoft Go, in my opinion. 3 words, dat trackpad. The keyboard goes for an extra $99 and it takes the Microsoft Go to another planet that the iPad can't even reach. The iPad is $160 and has no tripod. They both offer pins and they're very similar in price. So, I mean, guys, the keyboard for the Microsoft Go just wins. Accessories goes to Microsoft Go. When it comes to battery life, the battery life is 9 hours on the Microsoft Go and 10 hours on the iPad. I felt like once I started running intensive programs though on the Microsoft Go, that number lowered dramatically, whereas the optimized iPad kept more consistent battery life even under heavy load. The 2048 by 1536 264 ppi Retina screen on the iPad gets brighter and looks nicer than the Microsoft Go's, but the Microsoft Go screen is still no slouch with a 1800 by 1200 pixel resolution and 217 ppi, and it's still a pleasure to use. The screen on the iPad is more touch sensitive than the Microsoft Go, so I found myself hitting the screen on the iPad at times when I didn't want to. But in return, this made typing on the actual screen a lot easier. The Microsoft Go screen takes a little bit of time to get used to determine how much pressure to use to get it to register on the screen. So the winner here is obviously the iPad. The speakers are slightly better on the iPad compared to the Go. I do like the USB port on the Surface Go a lot more. It gives you way more flexibility to add like monitors, SD card slots, USB mouses and keyboards, and while you're still able to charge. While on the iPad, you have to buy a Lightning to USB adapter, and then you're going to lose some ability to charge and use the port at the same time. So there's that. One last thing that I want to touch on is Microsoft's facial recognition feature that allows you to open a laptop versus Apple's fingerprint reader. I vastly enjoy the recognition feature more than the fingerprint reader when opening my device, so this round goes to the Microsoft Surface Go. So which device will I be carrying around? Honestly, the winner for me is the Microsoft Go. And I'm not just saying that because I want to be cool and hate on Apple. No, I mean, I have a MacBook back there, for heaven's sake. But I'm saying that because it's like no other device I have ever used, whereas the iPad gives me something similar to my phone with the closed off iOS system, which while nice and optimized leaves very little room for customization and flexibility that the Microsoft Go's Windows 10 offers you. Having a desktop experience anywhere I feel like sitting down at is such a great feeling. If you're already in the Mac ecosystem and have purchased a ton of apps, love AirDrop and things like that come with the Mac ecosystem, by all means, the iPad is a great device. So yeah, those are my thoughts. Me personally, I'm going with the Microsoft Go. So thank you guys for your time. If you would be so kind as to drop a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been your boy BT saying peace.